This is the game that we are going to code today. Okay, it's based on a cartoon. You've seen this cartoon on your television many times. So this is how it works. Okay, so the lab that we are going to make use of for making this game is Sprite Lab. Okay, so let's start coding the game. So first of all, first thing that I would like to show you is the sprites that I have already created for this games in this costumes option. Okay, here you can see I have got this play button option, and this character also I have defined here, and this is the sprite that I will be using for the background, and this is another sprite, the Samosa Sprite, that I will be using for my game, and this is the Motu's image. Okay, so what are we going to do first is we need the background for our game, right? So for that we are going to come here and we are going to make use of this make new sprite option. Let's select this sky image from here, and for for setting the size of this image, we can make use of this set size option that is there in this actions button. We need to select the sky, and what is the size that I need to define? Let's define 1000 for now, because I want to cover the entire world area. Okay, so that is the reason I'm defining 1000 as a size. Now let's define the play button. So for the same, I'm going to copy this code and I'm going to paste it here. Let's make use of this button, and I'm going to replace it with this play button option. Okay, and now let's set the size of this play button, or else let's keep the size this much only, because this is looking fine. Earlier it was very big, now it is looking fine, so we are going to keep the size as it is. What else do we need to do now? Now what we want is we want to define the code, the thing that I want should happen when I click this play button. So for that we need to come on this actions part, we need to come on this events part, right? So here we are going to pick up this block and make use of it here. So what I want is when I click this play button, what should happen? The first thing that should happen is I do not want to see this play button anymore. So for removing this play button from this area, I can make use of this remove block, right? So this is how I can get rid of this play button. Now I want a new sprite to get created. So for that I can again make use of this make new sprite, right? And here I want the Motu's sprite to get created, and the location that I want to see Motu's image. Okay, let's set this position. Let's set this position for now. Let's see what are we going to get as a result. So this is where we are going to see the image on the world area. Now let's reset the game again. Now let's set the size of this image, Motu's image. So that's how we can copy the code, this code set size code, and we can make use of it here. For now I'm going to define the size as 120, because I have already tried it and it was working fine. It's looking fine. Why the size of this has got reduced? Okay, I need to select this sprite, okay, here. So this is looking fine right now. Now what else do we want? We want to see the villain sprite as well, John's sprite. So we are going to define the same code for the John sprite too. Fine. And where do we want to see him in the beginning? Let's define the position. Okay, let's make it here. So this is how you're going to see these two things in the beginning. Let's set the size of this what we say, this John's image also. So this is how we can set the size of John's image. So this is what you're going to get in the beginning. Okay, this is perfectly fine. Now what else do we require? We are done with setting the size of this villain's image also. Now we want to see it moving towards the east. Okay, we want to see it moving towards the east. How can we do that? So for doing that, we can make use of where is that option? Yeah, this is the one that we can make use of. Sprite begins. I want to see him moving towards east. So I already have created a behavior earlier that I've used for making it move towards this side. This is the one. Let me just show you the code that is there inside it. So this is the code that I have defined inside this thing. So this is going to move this sprite towards west. Okay, move this sprite 10 pixels west. However, if this sprite's x position, this axis is reflects the x position, and top down reflects the y position. So if the x position is smaller than 0, if it is smaller than 0, so what I want should happen, I want randomly some value should get allocated to the y position and x position of this sprite. Sorry, for the y position of this sprite, x position is going to be 400 only, but the y position is going to get a random value somewhere in between 100 to this whatever you're seeing right now here. Okay, so let's close this thing, and what we are going to do is we are going to put this behavior moving east loop here inside this sprite begins part. Now let's see what are we going to get as a result. So this is what you're going to get as a result. See, fine. Now what else do we require? We require one samosa also. So for that, again, we are going to make use of this make new sprite block, and we are going to put it here. Let's replace this image with the Samosa Sprite. And where do we want initially, where do we want to see it? Let's define it somewhere here at this point. Okay, so this is how it is going to look like. The size is also fine, so we are not going to set the size of this image, or shall we set it? Is it looking fine or not? Yeah, the samosa size is looking very big, so let's set the size of this samosa. Make use of this set size option, right, in order to set the size of the samosa. And let's set the size to 75, because 75 is going to look very fine. Let's see what are we going to get as a result. So this is what we are going to get as a result. Okay, we want to see the samosa also moving towards this side. So for doing the same, we can make use of this block, right? So whatever we have done for this villain John, we have to do the same thing for the samosa also. Fine. So this is the result that we are going to get. And now what we want is, so this is what you're going to get as a result here. Okay, so you can see, the position of the samosa and this villain is changing constantly. Okay, now what else do we require? We require we require a variable. We need to define a variable with which we can calculate the score. So for that, what we can do is we can make use of this variable section, and we can define a variable by using this set I tool. Okay, so after that, let's make use of this thing. So initially the value of I is going to be 0. Okay, and what else can I use? I can make use of this show title subtitle, right, in order to check out, in order to get the score reflected over here. So the title, okay, let me just remove these two things from here, and instead of these two things, I'm going to make use of this join part. Fine. So what I want to join, this one is this. Okay, so here I'm going to write down score is equals to, this is the text that I want to get reflected. Okay, and what else do I require? Okay, where is that? I'm looking for the for the block that in which I can show the score. So where is that? I am searching for the same. I think I'll be able to find it out here in the functions. No, not in maths. Okay, I think this should work. Okay, so we are going to replace it with I. Okay, we are going to replace it with I, because I is a variable in which the value of score is going to get stored. So, but we cannot make use of this thing, I think, for defining any variable. So let's try and find out the block which we can use for getting the score reflected. Okay, yeah, this is the one in which I can get the score reflected, so I need to replace it with I, right? Let's see what are we going to get as a result. So when I will hit this play button, so this is what I'm going to get as a result. So this is working extremely fine. Now what are we left with? We, in order to control the movement of Motu with the direction keys, we need to make use of these actions, right? When up button is pressed, I want to see Motu, or else I can make use of this move block, right? I want to see this Motu image to move 10 pixels towards north. Similarly, when I on hitting this down direction key, I want to see him. Where I want to see him? I want to see him moving towards the south direction. Okay, so that's how you can do control this sprite. And now what else do we require? When this touches, when Motu will touch that Samosa Sprite, what do we want? We want the score to change, okay, and it should get incremented by 10. That's what I want. So for the same, I will require the change block. Where can I find that? This is the one, right? I can make use of it here. So when the Motu's image is going to touch this samosa, I want to see the score change by 10. Okay, that's what I want. And in order to reflect this score, what I can do is I can copy this text from here and I can put it over here. So this is how we can get the text also reflected, right? Now what else do we require? We require we do not want this samosa to get disappear, but we want this samosa to come out from this side from some other position. Okay, so in order to move this samosa to some other position, what we can do is we can make use of this move sprite, right? This is what we can make use of. Move this samosa 1000 pixels towards west side. Okay, because I do not want it to get disappear, I want it to come from the some other side. So that's how I can do this. Similarly, I'm going to define the code for this. What should happen when this if John touches the samosa, then what should happen? This is the thing that I want to happen again. So the samosa should again, it should shift to 1000 pixels towards west side. That's what I want. Now the last but not last thing that I want to happen is I need to define what should happen if Motu touches the villain John. What should happen in that case? So for that also I need to define something, right? So how can I do that? I want everything to get should get disappear from this screen. So for that I need to make use of this remove block, right? So I do not want to see anything on this sprite, on this world area. So I need to remove this Motu. Besides, I need to remove the villain. Okay, and I need to remove this samosa. This is the third sprite, and let's remove the samosa also. And what else do I want? I want to see this play button once again. So in order to see that, we need to make use of this make new sprite option, and we can put it here. And at what point we need to see it, let's define that too. So this is a position where I need to see my play button. Okay, 200 by 200. So I think we are done with defining the whole code. Let's see what are we going to get as a result. So when we will hit this play button, okay, so this is what you're going to see. Okay, we are not able to get rid of the samosa. We need to replace this with a play button, right? Now let's check the code. Okay, so we are not able to move it further. We are not able to move this this, you're not able to move this Motu over here. So we are facing some issue. And besides, we are not able to see this background also moving. So in order to make this background moving, what we can do is we can make use of this block that we have defined over here, sprite begins. Okay, and we can put it here, put it right on the top with this sky, and let's replace this with the sky. Okay, and now when you will hit this play button, you will see this background also moving. Okay, so that's how you can get the required result. Now the only thing that we are left with is we are not able to move this Motu with this direction keys. Why we are not able to do that? Let's check that also out. So I think we have used this move, we are using these move buttons. Maybe because of that we are not able to move it. We are making use of this. Okay, we are not able to move this Motu from one place to the other. Let's do one thing. Let's get rid of this. Okay, and what is the thing that we can use? We can make use of this thing. We want to see Motu north side, right? Let's remove this for now. Where is that moving north option? This is the one. Let's see whether we'll be able to move it now or not. So I think now it will work fine. Yeah, now it is working fine. But we will be able to stop it or not? That's what also we need to check out. We are not able to stop it. Okay, so instead of moving north, let's edit the code inside this moving north behavior. So what we can do is we can make use of the logic functions. So let's remove this thing for now. And if the up key is pressed, so I want this should happen. Okay, this is how you can edit this block. Let's see now what are we going to get as a result. Yeah, I think now it is working fine. Okay, so we are going to define the same thing for the down button too. Let's make use of this. I'm copying this code and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, now it is fine. And what I want is I do not want this north here. I want to move it towards the south. So this is the block that I'm going to use. Let's edit the code. Let's make use of this logical function if, and we are going to remove this thing. If the down key is pressed, I want to see him moving towards 5 pixels south. Let's check the code whether it is working fine or not now. So now it is working fine, see? Okay, it is working perfectly fine. So this is what you're going to get as a result. Let me just show you the whole code once again. If you enjoyed the lecture, please do like and subscribe to my channel, and also please do share this video with other students so that they can also learn coding free of cost. Currently I am also giving coding lectures on Unity 3D, with the help of which you can make games. So if you want, you can check that out in the Unity 3D playlist.